Danny on the beat, boy.
What is going on, Notary World? Welcome back to another episode of Notaries Anonymous Hotline. It is February 15th. I know, one day later than what I promised you guys. You know, it's really messed up that I went and changed up schedule on my second episode. I didn't really want to do that, but you know, we had that special little holiday that pops up every now and then called Valentine's Day, and I wanted to make sure that all of you guys had an opportunity to be with your loved ones as well as myself. So I hope everybody enjoyed their Valentine's Day and they are ready to get into this Notaries Anonymous Hotline tonight. I am so curious and interested to see what kind of callers we're going to get in tonight and what we're going to be discussing. The last episode was pretty awesome. We had some people call in that made some excellent points, and I'm hoping that we can continue to have some great callers come in, so that way everybody that comes back and listens and joins in on this live today can either learn something or get some information and some of the tea that's out there in the notary world. I want to make sure that I go ahead and highlight the Notaries Unsealed podcast. We had a new episode come out yesterday. It's called Pushing Forward. Unfortunately, Griffin was not able to join us, but Matthew and I held it down. And it's actually a really good episode, so I hope that you guys take the opportunity to check us out, the Notaries Unsealed podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everywhere that you can get podcasts. Just type it into your search bar. Come on now. It ain't that hard. We ain't hard to find. We like Deion Sanders out here. We ain't hard to find. Let's see, what else is going on today? So, we got a little low viewership at the moment, but I know that that's going to pick up. You know how YouTube is when it comes to alerting folks. Sometimes you don't get them, sometimes you do them. So, there's a couple things that I wanted to look at today while we wait for some callers to call in. I am going to pull up All right, can you hear me now? Can you put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me now? You should be able to. Can I get a 1? Can I get a 1? Can we get a 1? No. You guys still can't hear me? You should be able to hear me. Okay, you can hear me now. Cool. Awesome. All right, so let me go back to this law that I'm going through here. So I'm on the NNA's website, and this is in their law updates. There's one law that kind of stood out to me that I think is really interesting, that I think all notaries across all the states should really pay attention to. And that law is going to be Senate Bill 288, which turns the broad duty of a notary public as a mandated reporter of adult abuse, neglect, and exploitation into a prohibition for a notary to knowingly fail to report such abuse, neglect, and exploitation, and classifies a violation as a misdemeanor of the fourth degree. Now, this is really important for those notaries in Ohio, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to get some other states that pay attention to how this law rolls out and what they're able to capture with it. Because ultimately, a lot of us, especially if you're doing specialty notary work, we end up going inside of the nursing facilities and into hospitals and whatnot. And we are, witnesses to the type of care that a lot of these folks are experiencing. So now what Ohio is doing is saying, if you are a witness to anything that is a neglect of adult care, you are required to report it. And I think that this is a really interesting thing. I think it could be a good thing, but it places more of a responsibility on the notary. And one of the things that I'd really be interested in knowing is if we're going to be required, if this is something that would be required for a notary. Let's say I'm a notary in Ohio, although I'm a notary in Pennsylvania. If I was in Ohio, would I be required to have a certain, some type of other insurance, or how can I legally protect myself? Because what if I see something that I think is neglected and it goes to be further explored and investigated and finds out that it's not? What are the repercussions there? So I think that that's going to be a really interesting bill to pay attention to. And I'd love to hear what some of you guys' thoughts were on that. And as always, before I open up the phone lines, I want to make sure that we go over the rules. So let me do what I do best and pull up a video. All right, rules for our callers. Rule number 1, no cussing. All right, rule number 2, if you're going to call somebody out by name, please be respectful. Rule number 3, be ready to support any claims with facts, okay? So if you're making a claim against a company, a training, or somebody else, make sure that you got facts to go with that. Rule number 4, this is my platform. I will respect you, and you will respect this platform or get blocked. There is no ifs, ands, or questions at all. All right, and rule number 5, do not call in under the influence of any substances at all. And rule number 6, I will disconnect the line if I feel that you have violated any of the previous 5 laws. All right, that's pretty simple to understand. So the phone line is now open, and I am ready to hear from you guys. Talk to me. What's been going on in the notary world? What's up? I know we got some people out there that's got some strife, that have experienced some things. Talk to me. What we got? In the meantime, while I wait for y'all to call, let's look at a couple of these other laws that are going on here or might be coming up. Let's switch this out. Whoops. There we go. All right, let's take a look at some of these other ones. So it looks like, what else is coming up? Or what just passed? We got any New York notaries in the house? So on January 25th, there's a rule regulation on the New York Department of State has published final, where'd it go? I lost it. Oh, there it is. For the implementation of Remote notarization. I think I heard the Notary Giant talking about this. If you guys don't know who that is, definitely check him out. So I wonder how many notaries out there actually take the time to check out the notary news and keep up on their laws. You guys in the chat got anything on that? Are you checking out upcoming laws and legislation that may be applied to your state? Give me a call. Let's talk about it. All right. So it looks like, let's cut through all the red tape here. It's kind of hard to see with these glasses on, but I got to stay in character. You know how it goes. All right. Renewal, electronic notarization registration status changes. Clarifies that prior to performing any notarial acts, a notary must be commissioned by the state. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Prohibits a notary from performing electronic notarial acts until the notary has registered on a form prescribed by the Secretary of State, including in addition to any other information. Okay, so basically the same thing that we've had to go through here in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, they have an approved list, and if you pay attention to Amy Seitz from Cyberize It, follow her on Facebook. She keeps everybody kind of up to date with what the laws are because she is actively trying to get Cyberize It in each state. She is a great resource when it comes to any RON laws that are out there because she's really talking with the Secretaries of State and meeting with the houses and discussing her platform to get it implemented as one of the approved platforms that are out there. So definitely check out Amy Seitz on Facebook, and her platform is Cyberize It. All right. I used it for some time. The only reason that I stopped using Cyberize It was because it fell out of my business model, and I started focusing more on operating within my community. But Cyberize It is very expansive. If you are a tech person, or you're good with technology, Cyberize It is great because of all of the options that it gives you. It's very robust. Pretty much any scenario that you may run across as a notary, especially online, Cyberize It is able to adapt to it. So definitely recommend it. There's some other good ones out there. What's up, Griff? I see Griff in the chat. What's up, Griff? Griff, what's the name? If you could type the name of the pro, what is it that you use? I forget what it is, but let the people know what you use in the chat if you could, please. And I know with what Griff uses and talking to him, he likes it. He likes the platform. There are, some intricacies with any platform that's out there that are going to have to be worked out. But I think it works really well for him. What's that? Chev Roland said January 25th changed everything. Chev Roland, call him. Talk to me about it. If you're interested, please call in. Let me know how it changed. Give me your perspective on it. Let's let the people talk about, what you may have experienced there in New York. I'm assuming you're in New York, so I invite you to please call in and let us know your take on that particular these changes that happened on January 25th. All right, so there's a fee of $60 for registrants to perform electronic notarial acts. That's interesting. I guess I have to continue to read to see if there are any opportunities to charge more than $60. Clarifies that a notary may apply for reappointment within 90 days of the expiration of their commission, provided that the requires a notary has registered to perform electronic notarial acts and applies to reappointment. Okay. And all this is pretty basic stuff from what we have here in Pennsylvania, but I'd really like to hear from someone in New York. You're in Brooklyn? Yo, call in. Call in. Don't be scared. Let's see. What else do we have? So I want to hear about New York. Anybody in New York that knows anything about Ron, please call in and talk to us about it. Anybody in Ohio that might know anything about this bill that's coming up on April 4th that they're looking to get some legislation on. Definitely call in on that as well. I think that that's really interesting that they're going to now make us responsible. Not make us, but put us, well, I guess it is making us responsible for reporting stuff. I see you in the chat. Call in. Oh, somebody did call in. Yo, my bad. Call back. Somebody. Why am I not getting? All right, call back in, caller. My apologies about that. I didn't mean to miss your call. Let me turn on alerts here. All right, my alerts are back on. And for some reason, it's not. I'm going to call you, caller, if that's all right. All right, I'm just going to announce myself, and you can tell me if you want to have the call private or not. Hello, this is Captivated Notary Q. I missed a couple of your calls, but let me know if you want your voice private or you don't mind it being regular.
I don't mind being regular.
All right, what's going on, man?
Hold on for 1 minute.
You good?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, just chilling. Can't complain. Decided to check out the show because I liked the first episode.
I appreciate that. It's another Wednesday, right?
Yeah. So I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. Hello?
Yep, you're here. You're from Brooklyn. My family's from the Bronx, man. I got deep roots in New York.
But can I call you from another phone number?
Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. Call back in.
All right.
All right, bye-bye. All right, we're going to wait for the caller to call in. Brooklyn in the house. What's up? BK. BK to the fullest. So how many states out there still don't have Ron? I think California, right? California, there's no Ron. Who else got something out in the chat? What other states aren't allowed to do Ron right now? Y'all got anything? I'm gonna look it up. My fault, y'all. Give me a second. Yeah, for some reason, man. I'm trying to make sure that you guys can call in. For some reason, when the last caller was calling in, just wasn't sounding right. Anyway, I got my phone right in front of me. While we wait for the gentleman to call in, anybody else that is wanting to talk about anything, we're here. We ain't going nowhere. It's about 10:30. We're gonna go live for about an hour tonight. So we'll see what else we can get into. So Pennsylvania has some new laws. Let's check those out. All right, January 2nd, 2023. Senate bill streamlined the process for qualifying to be a notary public. None of my calls are coming in. All right, caller that just called, 347. I'm going to call you right back. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Hey, John, if you want to call in, the number's right there on the screen, 484-549-1767. And for some odd reason, calls are not coming in. So 347, I'm going to call you back right now.
Hello?
Hey, this is Captivated Notary. Sorry I missed your call. This is Q. Would you like for your voice to be private, or are you good with it being regular?
I'm good with it being regular.
All right. Talk to me. What's up, man?
All right, I'm Chev. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm the notary. I've been a notary for 6 years, and the 25th has changed everything. From on the 25th, all notaries have to have a journal, and they have to save the journal for the next 10 years. And what else? They save the journal for the next 10 years, and the what you have to put in the journal is so precise that I'm like, I have to get me a spreadsheet. I have to get a spreadsheet to actually do it up and make sure I'm okay with it. That's one thing. And on the 1st of February, that's when RON became available in New York.
Okay.
Problem is, from the 25th to from the 25th, just from January 25th, like Notaries and other platforms have taken all the notaries from New York off their, what is it called? Because I'm not a signing agent. What's it called? They like New York, they don't, until the state approves their platform, then RON is going to be available in New York. Like, the state has to approve it. But the only one positive thing about it, you get $25 per RON. And it's not the liquid, it's not the remote ink notarization no more. They don't do that no more.
Right, not written.
It's like actual RON.
Straight up RON. All right, so let me ask you, is that 25 per stamp or 25 per session?
Per session, per notarized session. Also, with that too, you have to keep a record of that.
Right.
Of that, and you have to save it for 10 years. I don't know how. Like, that's the hard part. Like, I'm in notary groups in New York, and they saying how hard it is to save like paperwork for 10 years. But you know.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Do you know how many platforms are approved right now in New York?
I'm not sure of any. Because like I'm probably not the best person for this to answer that question, but I'm really not sure on any. I think a lot of platforms took a lot, like most New Yorkers, off their register, or just, what's the word? It's like, I'm thinking of a word, but I can't think of a word. But there's no New York notaries on a lot of these platforms right now because the state has to approve it and.
Gotcha. Yeah, and they probably haven't done the legwork yet.
Yeah, they haven't done the legwork, and like when people actually apply and actually become a electronic notary in New York right now, they actually, their whole number changes. Their commission number changes, and the date of their commission changes also. So that means people have to go out and get a new
really?
What is it? A new stamp.
Really? So hold on.
Yeah,
it gives you
really
a whole new commission number.
The way how it looks, because I was about to do it because it was $60. As long as you do the paperwork, whatever, get it notarized, it's okay. But I was about to do it, but then other people did it in groups I'm in, and they saying there's two separate numbers.
Wow.
Which they're trying to call Albany. Albany, that's the main capital of New York. Albany is not giving the answers that people need, because they do need this for other platforms that's going to eventually open it up to New Yorkers. So right. It's kind of, everything's kind of, if you really, like, I really pay attention to the notary business in New York State, it's kind of like crazy right now. if you want to sit there and take it there, if you want to sit there and be a what is it, electronic notary? It's really crazy. They haven't really thought out everything, and they say, hey, we haven't thought out anything, but you know what? We're gonna make it go. Which is like, no, wait, what are you doing? A lot of people are like really upset about this in New York right now. A lot. Yeah. People who are in the know. There's a lot of people who I've tried to tell my friend that I find out he's a notary. He don't understand what I'm saying. So I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. You'll find out a couple months from now.
Yeah, man. You know, it's tough because all of the states are kind of moving separately, right?
Yeah.
And so you got notaries, and it sucks because you got some notaries that can do things that other notaries can't. And then you start hearing about people making money, and you're like, I can't even make the money that they're making because I don't have the opportunity.
Yeah. I think, like, honestly, I think all the states need to get together and have one universal, uniform, like, laws when it comes to this whole notary thing. Because as I was listening to the last episode, when it came to that young lady talk about training, training, and it's like, why are you training these people to do stuff that's not necessary in their state?
Nah, you're right. But here's the thing. I agree with you. It would be nice to have all the states on one accordance and have some things that are kind of like mandated across the states. But in order for that to happen, then we would have to have the federal government involved. And you know, this is an industry that gives us a lot of leeway, and when the feds come in and start regulating industries, we know what they do.
Yeah. I've seen that in other what is it?
And other niches like real estate and things like that. Once those feds come in, you know, like everything is strictly to what they say, and then they start watching over. Not saying that we shouldn't be watching over things, but we have the flexibility and the luxury of being in an unregulated market right now that gives us the freedom to be just entrepreneurs and go out and do a bunch of different things that other people wouldn't be able to do. You know, the Fed came in, they may come in and say, okay, well, if you're a notary, then you can't do these things. Bing, 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 bing. And then there's nothing that we can do.
Yeah.
You know?
I understand.
But I'm with you, though. It needs to happen because ultimately there's so many notaries that are making mistakes on interstate commerce. It's messing up money. And once you start messing up commerce, there's an issue. And I'm telling you, man, the more that mistakes keep on happening when it comes to the loan signing and commerce keeps getting interrupted, if it keeps happening, man, we're going to be looking at a situation where somebody does come in and drop the hammer.
Yeah. And we don't want that. So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Hey, man.
It sounds like a good idea, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It sounds good. But at the end of the day, yeah. You know, we might have to bite the bullet on this one.
Paperwork and see the fine print. You're like, oh, okay, that's not a good idea.
Right? No, I agree. Hey, you got anything else you want to talk about, man? I appreciate you calling in. It was a great call.
All I say is this. I know you talked about reasonable prices. Mm-hmm. We are notaries. I understand some people are in it for the money, but let's be reasonable. Let's have reasonable prices when it comes to traveling courses, especially to older people. That's all I have to say, because there's a lot of times I hear stories, I hear how much certain people pay in New York, and you're like, what? You gotta be joking, right? And yeah, it's not really, we're supposed to be, people with honest, trustworthy. Let's not take advantage of the opportunity that we do have at being notaries and to charge whatever we choose to charge. Let's be mindful of that.
I agree with you, and that's a great point, man. I'm of the mindset, if you look through history, man, notaries were never supposed to be millionaires.
Yeah, we're not. The service that we do.
We're not.
And I have friends. I have a friend of mine who's a congresswoman, and she was a notary. We grew up, went to high school, went to grade school together, and she don't look at it as for the money. She barely remembers she has it. Like, oh yeah, I'm a notary, right? Yeah. But that's one sector of of the whole notary business, and then there's the other sector that's all about the money. I'm not leaving my house for less than $50. I'm not doing nothing, and it rubs me the wrong way. It really do.
Well,
that's just my beef.
I respect your stance, and if you found me, you probably know who I roll with and everything that we talk about. We with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are right there with you.
Nice.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
It was nice talking to you. I'm gonna make sure to listen more often. And you have a subscriber and fan right now. So
hey, I appreciate that.
And bless up, team.
I appreciate that, brother. Keep listening and call in, man. Be a friend of the show. I'd love to hear from you again.
I'm gonna be your friend.
All right,
we're friends on Facebook, so I'm gonna be your friend. All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, that was a great call coming in from the BK. Love my New York folks, man. It's been a while since I've been in New York. Who else is from New York? In the chat, who else is from New York? Who's from out here? My mother is from the Bronx. When my family came over from Puerto Rico, they went into to Harlem. So I got a lot of ties to the New York area. So shout out to NY, man. So the line is open. I just missed a call from 520. 520, I am going to be calling you back. I'm not sure why my phone is ringing. So tonight, guys, just give me a call. I'll get a missed call, and I'll give you a call right back. So 520, I'm calling you right now.
Hey, Q.
Hey, what's going on? Captivated Notary.
Hey, Q.
What's going on, sir?
You got to turn the volume up on that one. That's on here. No, this is where we need to turn it.
Yeah, turn the speaker down on your laptop and speak into the phone. It's got a delay. That's why.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
We are getting education. So any other callers calling in, make sure you turn down your laptop and talking to the phone. There is a delay.
Turn your volume down. Yeah.
Hey, how's that?
All right, caller. Would you like for your voice to stay public or private?
All right, Q. I'm going to keep talking, and you stop me when you're ready.
Oh, you're good to go. Please talk.
Q.
Yes, sir.
All right, caller. Would you like for your voice to stay public or private? Public is fine. Q. I'm going to keep talking, and you stop me when you're ready. You're good to go. Please talk. All right, we're talking. You can hear me now.
Go for it.
I want to thank you for the time today. This is John from Tucson.
Hey, John.
My wife, Jana. All right, we got a big gap here.
Yeah. So if you're listening on your computer, there's probably about a 3 to 4 second time delay. So don't listen on your computer, but listen to your phone.
You got a big gap.
Yeah. So if you're listening on your computer, there's probably about 3 to 4 second time delay. So don't listen on the computer, but listen to your phone.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm listening to my phone.
And you can't hear me?
Yeah, but about a minute later.
Oh, that's not good.
More than 3 or 4 seconds.
All right, so
I'm going to hang up and call you back.
All right, John. Not a problem.
Oh, wait, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Well, the volume is still on the TV. That's what's throwing me off.
Yeah, turn the TV down so that way we can have a good conversation.
I just turned the TV off, the volume off completely. I'm sorry. What a waste of time. But yeah, listen, hey, it was really great talking with you today. First time we've spoken. I just found your video on YouTube last night, and I feel really blessed to have connected with you. And I look forward to some great things. And we were talking a little bit about training today.
Yes.
And he wanted me to bring it up and, see what other people are doing and some of the things to be careful of.
Yeah, definitely. You had a great perspective, and again, thank you so much for reaching out. It was a pleasure talking to you and Rojana, and I'm very happy to have had the chance to meet you. But tell the folks a little bit about what you've experienced so far. You're a new notary, right?
So, I'm sorry, I got distracted with the phone again for a second. But yeah, one of the things that we went through is, and I'm a brand new notary. Let me just say that, anybody that's listening. But we just got involved really at the beginning of the year, sitting around trying to figure out what to do for the new year. We're both retired, and we sat there and saw some video on Facebook that was circulating about being a notary. And, we kind of bought into it. We did a little research before we signed up. We did a little research, looked at a couple other companies, and made the decision. But what I got out of it was the pitch, the 60-minute pitch on Facebook, talked about all kinds of wonderful things. But when we were done with the class, we get down to the very end and they say, oh, well, if you want to be able to go back to any of these videos of the class, you have to sign up for the subscription. It wasn't much, but it was $3.99 a month. And I said, no, thank you. And they, again, as you get to that step or a little bit further, they tell you, well, there's the master class and all of the promises that we told you, all the great things and tools and techniques that are going to make you $250 or $300 at a pop. We teach that in the master class. That was only $5,000.
Whoa.
Per year.
$5,000?
Yes, sir.
Jeez.
I know.
It's almost like the audacity. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out. Be careful what you're signing up for, and read the fine print. The terms and conditions and all that good stuff.
So John, let me ask you a question. I don't want you to go yet. Let me ask you a question. Because you're a new notary and you kind of assessed what was out there at the time, right?
Right.
What made you take that training?
Nothing made me take it.
Well,
what
was
the
it
video
that
for an hour?
So was the video for an hour and you felt comfortable?
So I there's some rapport that's built in that hour. So, I kind of felt like I was getting to know the guy. And, he wasn't necessarily the best person I've ever met at that time, but he was okay. And I liked what he had to say. And, we gotten everything that he said we were going to get. And as far as the training goes, I think it would have been pretty good. But then, and he had some good techniques. I'll admit there's some things that he's taught me that I've implemented into my business that I haven't heard from other sources. I've taken a couple other courses also, mostly through the MMA. NNA, yeah. Let's do that. Yeah, NNA. I'll do that. But so anyway, there's other good information out there, and don't be shy about it. But I think training is paramount. Training, and as you told me today, you got to be an expert on your state law.
Number one, that's the first thing.
Yeah, I've already cracked my book again today, so.
And the thing about the other thing that we didn't discuss while we were in our consultation today, the thing about becoming an expert on your state law first, once you become an expert and then you start looking at additional training, you'll be able to tell, if you go and ask, take that next step and reach out to the possible, the trainer and ask a couple questions, you'll be able to know if that's the right training for you based off of, some questions that you ask from your state laws. Like, okay, this is something that the state law is showing me right here, and I need some clarification. Is this something that you're going to train on? If, you get a whole bunch of, stuttering and whatnot, it's kind of like, this might not be the right one for me,
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Absolutely. So it's a good way to scrutinize. But, when you're starting out, it's the first of the year and you're making those New Year's resolutions and you're going to get something going. Like, you can't spend all month looking at it. You got to make a decision sometimes. That's where we were. So
that's right.
It's all working out. Working out.
And get ready to work.
I got my cards delivered today.
I saw them. I got your email. We'll talk.
Yeah. So anyway, But yeah, so I'm glad to be a part of what you're doing, and I think this is a good little session you have going on here, and it's been interesting.
Well, I appreciate that, John, and I will be reaching out to you shortly, probably tomorrow, to discuss some things.
Sure.
But hey, please come back and listen again every Tuesday at 9:30. Again, today was just a holiday. You know, we had Valentine's Day yesterday, so that's why we're doing it on Wednesday. But please join me every Tuesday, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, thanks. Be cool, man.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Hey, how about that? The Captivated Notary Marketing Solutions is see, people call in. I got real customers. So if you are looking for anything to deal with marketing, there's multiple things that I can assist you with. You just let me know what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and we'll see what we can do. All right, give me 1 second, guys. My phone is dying, and I gotta go grab my charger. I'll be right back. Don't be mad at me. It's only gonna take me a second. And just like that, we're back. Halfway back. All right, let me plug this in so my phone doesn't die. All right, the line is open up again. Please, any callers, my phone is charging. We are good to go. I'm going to hang in there for about another 15 minutes. If somebody wants to give us a call in and talk to us about the notary world, that would be awesome. We are here and ready to talk. So nobody wants to talk about the that thing from Ohio, huh? That's not significant to anybody out there. I think that's crazy. Not crazy. Not that I think that it's crazy like we shouldn't do it, but to place that responsibility on us, and if we choose not to report, then we can get hit with a 4th degree misdemeanor. Now that is definitely something to pay attention to if you are in Ohio. You know, and that brings up more questions like, how would they know if I witnessed neglect or not? I think that is a crazy question there. Oh, 5-Star General is in the house. Matherin's Notary Service. Say what's up to Matherin, everybody out in the chat. And this episode is actually brought to you by Matherin's Notary Service. We are going to do one giveaway. If you listen to the podcast today, I know that we said, or yesterday, I know we said we're going to do 3, but we're only going to do 1, and we are going to give 1 away for the next 3 weeks. That's how we're going to do this. All right, so I've got a question, and I'm going to be watching the chat. For the first person to answer this correctly, you are going to get a book from Matherin's Mystery Literature. So Matherin has picked out 3 books that he will be sending. And what you're going to do is if you type in the correct answer, I'm going to have you reach out to me. Please email me directly at info@captivatednotaryms.com. That's info@captivatednotaryms.com for the winner. All right. Now, the question for this evening to win Matherin's Mystery Literature is, who was the first guest on the Notaries Unsealed podcast? I'm not going to tell you guys what episode it was, but who was the first guest? So, Joseph Haskins says, it's Captivated, baby. You're darn right it is. No cursing. See how I did that? It's that simple. So the first guest on the the Notaries Unsealed podcast, who was it? First person to type it in, you will win a free book from the 5-Star General Matherin Notary Services. All right, so going back to what the gentleman was saying about Ron in Brooklyn. There's also another thing that people have to consider when it comes to Ron. Platforms can get approved, but at the same time, you've got states that are mandating exactly how much you can make per stamp. The platforms have platform fees. That's something that really needs to be taken into consideration when you are thinking about which Ron platform it is that you're going to do. How much is it going to cost to use that service versus how much business you're bringing to it. A lot of these Ron companies out here, and rightfully so, they're not providing notaries with, consistent signings. That's not what they're there for. They're there to provide you with a platform to use and bring your own. And if you're looking for a platform to provide you with opportunities to work, that's borderline W-2 mentality, and you're not really operating underneath 1099. So, you got to go out there and find your business and bring it onto the platform and make your money. Where you're going to struggle is what are you allowed to charge versus an inclusion with what the Ron platform charges are, and see how that evens out for you. Joseph Haskins typed in Samantha Smith. No. Sorry, sir. That is not the right answer. Good guess, though. Very good guess. I think she was the second guest that we had on. Yeah, she came later down the road. Yeah, she was definitely the second guest, so it was not Samantha Smith. I stopped looking at my phone, so if somebody was just trying to call in, I apologize. All right, I did miss a call. I missed a couple calls. Well, how much? This is horrible. Natural Jesse, no, it was not Samantha Smith. Good try. Think towards the beginning of the podcast. Go ahead, pull it up. Search for us, Notaries Unsealed. All right. It was in, I'll tell you, it was in the first 10 episodes. We had our very first guest. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call this caller back. They've called a couple of times. Let me give them a call. Let's see if you guys go back and find who it was. All right, caller, sorry I missed your call. This is the Captivated Notary Q. How can I help you? What would you like to talk about? Now you're scared. All right, well, it looks like you would not like to call to talk. Hello, caller. All right, I am going to go ahead and disconnect that call.
Hello?
Hello? Caller? All right, we are not going to play around on the phone, so let's go ahead and disconnect this call. Santa Claus. Matherin said Santa Claus. Really? All right. I guess nobody wants a book today. So, Matherin, I'm sorry. We tried to do this. It ain't going to work this time around. Maybe next week we'll get somebody that calls in with the right answer. But it won't be the same one. Haha. John Ochi. Bill Scora. Bill Soroka was not the first guest that we have. Hopefully we get him on the podcast soon. I hope so. I'm putting it out there into the universe, and we'll see what happens. Let's see, any other guesses out there? Hey, Matherin, if I guess it, is it going to be, do I get the book? Because I like the... Natural Jesse got it correct. It was the only notary we know from Garland, Texas, Mr. Gannon Harris. So Gannon Harris was our very first guest on the podcast. It was a great show. I highly recommend you guys go back and check it out if you haven't listened to it yet. A whole lot of information. You know, Gannon is a hustler out there. If you're not following him on Instagram, I suggest that you do, because he's doing it the right way. He's hustling. He's doing everything that a notary should be doing, a mobile notary should be doing, man. The way that he works works his hospitals in his area, it's a work of art, man. It really is. He's always up there staying busy. So check out Gannon Harris on Instagram. He's a wonderful gentleman. All right, so Natural Jesse, thank you so much for going back and looking to see who our first guest was. Please send me an email at info@captivatednotaryms.com, and I'll get your information and we'll get that book over to you as soon as possible, okay? So I appreciate that. And next week, I'm hoping that we can give away something else. I might start giving away t-shirts from the Captivated Notary store. We'll see. If this grows, I'll start giving away some t-shirts. You know, if you haven't already checked it out, CaptivatedNotaryStore.com. Over 208 designs, t-shirts and apparel for children, infants, all the way up to your grandmama. All right, so definitely check out the Captivated Notary store and the Notaries Unsealed podcast. Again, every Tuesday around 10 o'clock. I say around. I try to be at 10 o'clock. Well, let's just say around 10 o'clock, a new episode. We are on episode 27, actually, coming up this week. 6 months. We just had our 6-month, I guess you could say, anniversary of the podcast. Which is pretty cool. 6 consistent months of bringing you guys great content, and I can't wait for the next 6 months to see what we can put together for you guys. All right, so the phone number, we've got about 5 minutes left. I've told you I'm gonna hang on to about 10:30. 484-549-1767. Give me a call, and let's end the show the right way. Let's see. 912. Let's see. Maine becomes the latest state to enact the revised Uniform Law of Notarial Acts, and the 41st state to enact permanent remote notarization provisions. That's coming in Maine on July 1st. So congratulations to you guys. Joseph says the book is mine next week. We'll see, Joseph. We'll see. I'm gonna try to stump you, man. Congratulations to Maine coming up. You guys are gonna be getting Ron. You guys are getting Rolona. Here's the thing about Rolona. You know, Pennsylvania has Rolona, but there's nothing out there in the books that says Rolona, since Rolona was implemented, that the laws that existed prior to Rolona are no longer enacted. There's nothing that says that those laws are no longer standing and holding truth, at least here in Pennsylvania, from what I've been able to find. For any other states out there that have implemented Rolona, I'd love to know. Hit me up on IG at _captivated_notary, and let me know if you have any more additional information on Rolona in your state and how it has affected the laws that previously applied before its implementation. I would love to hear about that. All right, guys, I'm not going to hold you too much longer. Listen, I appreciate everybody that decided to call in today. Make sure that you tell your notary friends and your notary groups to check out the Notaries Anonymous hotline. I'd love to hear about what you guys have going on. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you check out the Notaries Unsealed podcast. And I've got more YouTube content coming soon. I promise you I got some stuff coming on Canva. We're going to do an introduction to Canva and I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we can do with it before we get into the real basics and trainings of how to use the program. And I've got another Talking Notary Marketing with Q coming up soon too as well, so stay tuned for that. Hey guys, listen, I appreciate you guys checking out the Captivated Notary YouTube channel. Much love to all of y'all. Love your life, love your business, love yourselves. We out of here. Peace. It's Captivated, baby.